So, welcome to the next edition of the Rare Business Podcast. With me today, I have Sebastian Henks, who is the MD of Sabio, and Claire Clifford, who is the head of HR from Sabio. Hi, Sebastian. Hi, Claire. How are you doing?
Good morning.
Hi.
Good, thank you.
So, for the benefit of our listeners and readers, can I ask you to tell us a bit about yourselves and also a bit about the work that you do? Seb, why don't you go?
Hi.
Is it Sebastian or Seb? Which is the best?
Seb is fine.
Seb is fine. So, Seb,
Yeah.
why don't you go first? Why don't you tell us a bit about yourself, and then Claire, if you can come in afterwards.
Sure.
Okay. So, in terms of my roles, you've pointed out, I'm the managing director of the Sabio Group. I'm also one of the founders of Sabio. So, was one of the five of us that first set the business up back at the end of '98, and have continued with full-time involvement in the organisation since then.
Okay, fantastic. Claire?
Hi. So I head up the HR function at Sabio, looking after all the employees, both in the UK and our division in Singapore as well. So I've been with Sabio for over 3 years now, and primary role really is to encourage and develop individuals at Sabio to look after the well-being of employees and really drive employee engagement and talent management throughout the organisation.
Fantastic. So maybe you can also Seb, maybe you can also kind of colour in for our listeners and readers a little bit about what Sabio actually kind of does.
Okay, yeah. So, we're a systems integrator that specialises specifically in the contact centre marketplace. So, fundamentally, we help organisations improve their customer engagement through the application of technology, but also effective operating models. So, we are a communication technology organisation, but we also very much focus around the application of it and the operational models that organisations use to engage with their customers.
Okay, brilliant. Now, the reason we got brought together is one, because I kind of do quite a lot of writing on speaking and things around customer service and customer experience, and given you're in that sort of space, it also kind of struck me that I saw that you had just been named as one of the UK's best workplaces to work, as ranked by the Great Place to Work Institute's annual survey of great workplaces. I mean, first of all, can you tell me where you ranked? Because I think you it's a bit like the chart show, really. You kind of had a new entry kind of high up the charts. Can you tell me how well you did?
I'll let you answer that one, Claire.
Yes, so we came 39th in the medium-sized category. That's across all sectors, which puts us in the top 100 UK organisations.
Fantastic, well done.
Yeah, it was certainly a great position to rank first time. Yeah.
So, absolutely. I mean, I also understand that this is the first time that you have entered. So can you tell me, I mean, what motivated you to enter the competition, and in terms of your ranking and things and all the results that came out, what did you learn from some of the results?
So I'll answer the reason for entering, and then I'll hand over to yourself, Claire, for some of the lessons learned. So we've always placed a huge amount of importance on our people and our culture, and we've done employee feedback surveys, etc. in the past. But the one thing that we hadn't done to date was actually benchmarked ourselves against the marketplace.
Right.
And so the core objective of going through the program was to get a genuine understanding of how we rank compared to other organisations. So it wasn't about trying to initially see how high and try and push our ranking. It was just to get a genuine understanding of what our people were thinking and feeling, and how that ranked compared to how other organisations perform in the marketplace. So we didn't prep the organisation other than saying, please make sure that you take the time to answer the survey as accurately and honestly as possible, and then let's just see where we're at and what lessons we can learn from it.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that was an important point around the reason for doing so is to get to hear from our employees. And the first thing that we was really proud of is that 93% of our employees took part in the survey.
Right.
So it did give us a real wide view of what the employees thought it was like to work at Sabio. how well the managers took on board their feedback, how we reward staff, and what opportunities there are at Sabio for an employee. So that was the first thing that we was really proud of, that people wanted us to hear their views.
Yeah.
And yeah, with no preparation, no prior discussions or anything like that, we got that raw feedback that come back into Seb and myself, which allowed us to really dig down and see why we were great, what we did well, and maybe some areas that we could improve and to make things even better.
Okay. And tell me, kind of, what is it that you think that makes Sabio such a great place to work?
I think Seb and I are probably on the same page, and it is genuinely our people. We spend a lot of time recruiting the right people into the organisation, people with the right attitudes and behaviours, to ensure that our culture maintains a real positive one in which to work. So that's sort of the fundamental piece, to get the right people in place. And then our people have told us that, we reward them well, the work that they do,
right,
the positions that they hold. We try to create an environment that allows individuals to grow, provide a lot of learning and development opportunities for individuals, both technically and the softer skills as well.
Okay.
And we've got a culture that's based on trust and autonomy, so we don't micromanage our people. We do allow them to input into business decisions, to change, to make some more effective use of, the technologies that we have in-house and the skills that we hold as well.
Okay, brilliant. I mean, but what's interesting for me, like I mentioned before, was I think that what you've achieved is fabulous. That sort of new entry on the chart is it's a phenomenal achievement. I mean, I guess, are you going to continue along this track about keeping sort of entering to see, and so that it allows you to measure your progress?
Yeah, absolutely. The first year was all about understanding where we rank and benchmarking ourselves to the market. Mm-hmm. But when we decided to do it, we immediately made a commitment to doing a minimum of 2 years, probably a minimum of 3, because the first piece was understanding where we are. But as with everything within our business, it's all around continuous progression and improvement. So sure. Last year was about the benchmarking. Mm-hmm. This year has been about understanding the areas of improvement. As a focus, so that this year, as in November, December time, when we rerun the survey, it's around progress and improvement. So yes, absolutely, it is. It's now something that we do, and as long as we continue to have confidence in the way the program works, its objectivity, and the value that we get from it, we'll continue to be part of it.
Okay. Now, I mentioned earlier that I'm really interested in, one, customer service and experience and things, but also about kind of what it takes to build a great place to work, because I have a real belief that if you build a great place to work and you get the right sort of engagement with your employees, it allows you to deliver the best sort of service and experience. I think we would all sort of agree with that. But based on what you've learned from the survey, the whole process and the lessons and things, do you think there are lessons that you've learned that could be transferred over onto some of the clients that you work with, or at least in the space, the contact center and customer service sort of space?
I think that all of the lessons that we have learned are transferable to that space, because our fundamentals are around delivering service to our customers and having long-term relationships with them. Yeah. And so any other organisation that's involved in customer service are going to have the same drivers that we do as a business. So all of the things which we've been learning around improving that employee engagement would be transferable. And I think they're transferable to most areas, but yes, we are a customer service organisation ourselves, so they absolutely are transferable. And driving engagement through personal development and building skills enabling individuals to deliver better customer service and greater retention. People they spend more time working with their colleagues, so they understand their colleagues, so they work more effectively as a team. But also, for us, our business model is long-term customer relationships, and so having individuals that are remaining with the business for a period of time, but they're remaining because they're enjoying it and because they are being developed, allows them to understand our customers more effectively so they can deliver a better service to them. So yes, absolutely, they're transferable, and particularly to other organisations who are built on longer-term customer relationships.
I mean, I think that's a great point in terms of the focusing on the longer term relationships rather than the short term and very sort of transactional one-off relationships. I mean, but if I was to say to you, Seb and Claire, about to ask you, if you've got somebody, imagine you've got somebody that's listening into this and said that said, I like the sound of that, I like what they're about, but I want to kickstart that sort of process, that sort of journey in my organisation. What would be your top tips, other than going out and starting a survey, doing a survey and benchmarking? Let's assume that they're sort of pre that sort of stage. Where would you kind of like? What would be your top tips, say, to get them going on that journey? What have you kind of learned? What are the big things that you've learned?
Do you want to kick off, Claire?
Yeah, I think for me it's around having some core values.
Right.
Understanding your own business core values, for which we have some real strong principles around those. Once you understand your core values, you can then take be it a survey approach or a look into your organisation as to where you currently sit in relation to those core values.
Right.
And then focus on one or two of those, get those really secure, good fundamentals in a couple of core values. I think that's a great place to start.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Having your core values, that's your reference point. Being consistent with them and all your behaviours genuinely supporting them, and your people understanding why they're important and how they sit in the overall program in terms of what your business is all about. And then the only other piece I'd add into that is, don't assume you know what's important to your people.
Right.
When you do get round to asking them, whether it be through a survey or on one-on-one sessions, listen to the answers, because I think that it doesn't matter who you are and which organisation you are, when you do that, there's going to be at least one surprising piece of feedback that's going to come back to you.
Excellent. I mean, Claire, to go back onto something that you picked up on, you talked about just almost like building picking one or two sort of core values, kind of as to build your, if you like, your foundations and stuff. Do you think that many organisations sometimes, when they go for try to do a culture change or a culture reset or something like that, that they end up, is there a danger that they end up trying to do too much too soon?
Yeah, absolutely. And we took a good hard look at this at the beginning, Seb, if you remember, as in, okay, when we get the feedback, how big are the things we're going to take on to review and to change? Mm-hmm. And we made a real conscious decision to keep it small, bite-sized chunks the whole way along the journey.
Right.
Too much for an organisation and for the people would be just too many things to juggle on top of a day job if you wanted to make a change.
Sure.
Too many people affected when you're trying to provide a service to a customer. So we made a conscious decision to pick just one or two fundamental things to build on top of our core values, and I think that has actually had a bigger impact than we imagined. So for us, communication was key. So communication internally, soft skills around communication formal within the business. We just kept communication as one of our key core values and tried to build and improve that one area, and that's really reaped some great benefits at Sabio recently.
Fantastic. Because I think that's absolutely right. I mean, it seems to me that change is all about momentum, and sometimes if you pick if you pick something which is a little bit too big, it's just too hard to get moving.
Yeah, it's like a big wheel, isn't it?
Well, absolutely. You just got to start small, get it moving, and then just then start adding things as you go, as you get sustainable momentum. That's brilliant.
That's right.
So, Seb, Claire, is there anything else that you'd like to add in terms of this journey that you're on, that lessons that you've kind of learned that we've kind of missed out that you'd like to highlight for our readers and listeners?
I mean, the one thing that I have said that I think, again, you probably agree is that whilst it's obviously yourself in terms of director, myself heading up HR, it's taken all employees get behind this to really want to make some changes and to feedback their views.
Right.
Because, as you said, we wouldn't have been able to make or continue on the journey unless we understood which direction, and it was our employees that gave us that direction in the first place, and this survey just helped to solidify those thoughts and journey steps.
Yeah, great communication, making sure that everybody sees some value in giving their feedback and guidance and thoughts, and then I don't think it's possible to over communicate so long as your communication is structured and joined up.
Mm-hmm.
It's very difficult, I think, then to over communicate back into the organisation. It is about just making sure that everyone understands what the goals and objectives are, being consistent and genuine, and making sure that you continuously deliver on changes and improvements. As you were saying earlier, it's about making sure that you don't bite off too much and just it's continuous. It's ongoing improvement.
Fantastic. So, what's Sabio's and your plans for the rest of sort of 2015 and beyond? I mean, apart from world domination, obviously.
Yeah, it's the easy bit. In terms of 2015 and the subject we've been talking about today, we've got plenty of work still to do, just in terms of the first round of things which we said we were going to focus on, as Claire's mentioned. There is others which roll further into over into next year. We're also going to have further feedback end of this year as to how we've performed and more feedback as to other areas we need to focus on. Mm-hmm. In terms of as an organisation, we fundamentally are about transforming customer contact and working with organisations to improve the way in which they communicate with their customers. That's what we do. That is our DNA. That's not going to fundamentally change in the next 12 months or the next sort of 36 months. So for us, it is around just making sure that we stick to our core formula, which is making sure that we've got quality individuals, that we're supporting them, applying them to a customer base that is growing, that is built on long-term relationships, and making sure that we operate efficiently so that we're able to deliver the type of business performance that allows us to then feed back in again and look after our people, invest in them further, improve the way in which we then deliver into our customers. And it's just a very simple ongoing cycle. So for us, it's always around just continual improvement and changing things rather than there being sort of seismic changes, and the global domination will just come off the back of that. Brilliant.
And so this leads me to my final question that I always ask at the end of these interviews, and that is this: is there anything that you would like to shamelessly plug?
See, Claire probably even be better at plugging than I am. I get told off by marketing and sales that I'm just not any good at shamelessly plugging stuff. So I'll let Claire answer that one first, and then I'll give you mine.
All right.
Well, from my point of view, it's about recruitment. Mm-hmm. We are a great place to work, as we've been voted and nominated by Great Place to Work and our employees. So we have a few roles to fill through progression and growth. So check out our website. We're always looking for great new talent, and do get in touch.
Fantastic.
Yep. And from a solution portfolio, we've been known for a period of time, I think, around our solutions and our services that we deliver. To date, we've not operated much in the SaaS cloud environment, but through our Sabio On Demand portfolio, we are now moving into that space. So look out for those solutions.
Fantastic. Well, Seb, Claire, thank you very much for sharing your insights and your experience with me today. And congratulations on a great result and the UK Best Workplaces survey. That's tremendous. And thank you for your time today. That's been great.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.